For decades, Kenya's skylines and highways told a story of slow, cautious growth. Construction projects dragged for years, often plagued by funding gaps, bureaucracy, and outdated methods of projects. Delays were common. For example, the Nairobi Thika highway, first proposed in the 1970s, sat on shelves for decades because of cost overruns and limited local capacity. Projects were not just slow, they were small in scale. Kenya's ambitions were limited to patching roads and maintaining colonial-era infrastructure. But now, the arrival of Chinese contractors flipped this script. China's entry into Kenya's construction scene began in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Part of Beijing's broader go-out policy. Two names will soon become household: China Road and Bridge Corporation, CRBC, and Sino-Hydro Corporation. These companies didn't just come with expertise, they brought cheap financing through Chinese tech banks, a vast pool of labor and equipment, and a reputation for delivering projects quickly. Unlike Western donors, they didn't tie loans to governance reforms or lengthy negotiations. For a country like Kenya, desperate for rapid modernization, this was irresistible. The first big showcase was the Thika superhighway, completed in 2012 at a cost of about $360 million. In just 4 years, CRBC transformed a congested single-lane road into an 8-lane modern expressway, connecting Nairobi to the industrial hub of Thika. The project was a revolution. It showed that mega projects were not just dreams, but achievable realities. From there, the floodgate opened. Perhaps the most iconic Chinese project in Kenya is the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, built by CRBC at a staggering cost of $3.6 billion. Opened in 2017, the railway cut travel time between Mombasa and Nairobi from 12 hours to just 4. Economically, the SGR has boosted freight transport, moving goods inland faster than trucks on highways. Socially, it has changed travel for ordinary Kenyans, providing safe and reliable and relatively affordable transport. But it has also been controversial. Critics argue the SGR is underutilized, unable to generate enough revenue to cover its loans, leaving taxpayers with a heavy debt burden. Others point that freight companies initially resisted using it, preferring trucks. Still, the SGR remains a symbol of Kenya's modern era, a railway built in record time where Western-backed plans had failed for decades. Opened in 2022, the Nairobi Expressway is another CRBC project. Built at a cost of about $600 million, stretching 27 kilometers across the capital, it was financed through a public-private partnership with CRBC operating the road and recouping costs through toll fees. The expressway has drastically cut travel time from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Westlands from 2 hours in rush hour to just 20 minutes. For Nairobi's middle class and businesses, it has been transformative. But the toll fees remain controversial. Critics say the road favors the wealthy, creating a two-tier system where the rich zoom above traffic while the poor remain stuck on clogged service roads. Parts of the ambitious Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia Transport, Lapset Corridor. Lamu Port is another example of Chinese involvement. CRBC built the first 3 berths at a cost of $367 million, with the aim of transforming Kenya into a regional shipping hub. While operations have been slow to take off, the port represents a strategic bet, competing with Djibouti and Tanzania for dominance in East African trade. If fully realized, it could shift regional trade patterns for decades. Chinese firms are not slowing down. In fact, their footprint continues to expand with several high-profile ongoing projects. Number one is the Greenpark bus terminal and underpass, which is nearing completion. This is a project meant to decongest Nairobi's CBD by relocating matatus. Built by CRBC, the terminal includes modern waiting bays, green spaces, and smart traffic systems. The second project is the Kenyatta Avenue viaduct, a futuristic overpass set to ease traffic congestion in Nairobi's busiest commercial streets. It is still under construction, and this viaduct represents a shift towards modern urban design. For the sports lovers, we have the Talanta Stadium, Sino Hydro, and other Chinese firms are heavily involved in building new sports infrastructure. Talanta Stadium, part of preparation for Kenya's future sporting events, showcases China's growing role beyond transport into social projects. This ongoing work shows that Chinese contractors are not just completing one-off mega projects. They are embedding themselves deeply into every sector: roads, rail, ports, and even cultural infrastructure. So, why exactly are Chinese contractors dominating Kenya's construction scene? Three main reasons. The first one is financing. Chinese state-backed loans are easier to access and faster to disburse than Western loans. They come with fewer political strings, making them attractive for African governments. Number two is the speed and scale. Chinese firms deliver projects in record time. Thika Highway took 4 years. Similar, Western-backed projects have dragged for decades. Number three is regional strategy. China sees Kenya as a gateway to East Africa. By investing in Kenya's infrastructure, Beijing gains influence not just locally but regionally, competing with US and European powers. On one hand, Chinese projects have boosted Kenya's connectivity, trade, and industrialization. Faster transport networks mean lower costs for businesses. Ports and railways open up new export opportunities. Nairobi's skyline is dotted with Chinese-built office blocks and housing estates, reflecting an expanding economy. Socially, these projects have improved mobility, safety, and even pride. The SGR, the expressway, and stadium symbolize progress for ordinary Kenyans. At the same time, there are concerns. Kenya's debt to China is now estimated at over $6 billion. Some fear a debt trap, though Beijing and Nairobi deny this. Labor practices are another flashpoint. Critics argue Chinese firms import too much labor instead of empowering locals. Kenya's embrace for Chinese construction is not unique. For instance, Tanzania is building its own Chinese-backed standard gauge railway, though with mixed success. Ethiopia launched the Addis-Djibouti Railway, also built by China as part of its industrialization plan. Djibouti has become a strategic hub for Chinese ports and even hosts China's first overseas military base. The competition is fierce. If Kenya plays its cards right, its Chinese-built infrastructure could secure it a dominant position in East African trade. If not, neighbors could overtake. What does the future hold? China is not leaving Kenya anytime soon. More roads, bridges, and stadiums are on the way. Nairobi's skyline will continue to rise, and Mombasa's ports will keep expanding. The key question is how Kenya manages this partnership, balancing growth with debt sustainability, local job creation, and transparency. The story of China in Kenya is not just about roads and railways. It's about power, ambition, and the reshaping of a nation. From the Thika superhighway to the standard gauge railway, from the Nairobi expressway to the Greenpark underpass, Chinese contractors have left an indelible mark on Kenya's landscape. Whether you see it as an opportunity or dependency, one thing is clear. China is not just building Kenya's infrastructure, it is building Kenya's future. As Kenya continues to build its future, the story of Chinese construction here is still being written. But what do you think? Are these projects the stepping stones to prosperity? Or do they raise concerns that we need to address now before it's too late? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into Kenya's transformation and the project shaping our world. See you in the next one.